Ravi stepped out of his small spaceship and onto the surface of Zythera. The air shimmered with soft blue light, and the ground beneath him glowed faintly with colors he had never seen on Earth. Floating trees swayed gently, though there was no wind. Above him, the sky had two suns, one golden and one silver, and both reflected on the crystalline mountains that surrounded the valley. He adjusted his helmet and took a deep breath. The planet smelled sweet, like flowers mixed with rain. He was here to explore, to study the strange life forms, and maybe discover something no human had ever seen before. As he walked, he noticed a palace in the distance. It floated above a small lake, supported by energy beams that glowed like rivers of light. The structure seemed alive, with walls that changed colors, reflecting the suns. Ravi's curiosity grew. He had not been allowed to enter restricted zones on most planets, but something about this palace called to him. He moved closer, careful to avoid the energy fields that flickered in the air. The guards, tall and elegant creatures with silver armor, were patrolling, but they did not notice him. Perhaps they did not expect a human in this area. Ravi slowed his steps, feeling a mixture of excitement and fear. Suddenly, he heard a soft voice singing. The sound was clear, pure, and carried through the glowing gardens of the palace. Ravi followed the voice and found himself in a courtyard filled with strange plants. The flowers seemed to hum with light, and tiny creatures floated above them, glowing softly. And then he saw her. A figure moved among the glowing flowers, her skin shimmering like blue glass. Her eyes were deep pools that reflected both suns, and her hair floated slightly, as if the air itself loved her presence. She was dressed in flowing garments that seemed to be made of light, and she moved gracefully, almost as if she were part of the garden. Ravi froze. He had never seen anyone like her. The alien princess. She turned slightly and noticed him. Her eyes widened, but she did not panic. Instead, she tilted her head and observed him carefully. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice soft but commanding. I am Ravi," he said, bowing slightly. "I am an explorer from Earth. I did not mean to enter your palace without permission. I was drawn here by the beauty of this place." The princess studied him. "I am Princess Neera," she said. "It is unusual for a human to appear here. You are far from your world, and yet you are not afraid." Ravi felt a rush of courage. "Your planet is amazing. I have never seen anything like it. The light, the air, the plants, everything is incredible. I had to come closer." Neera smiled faintly. "Most humans would not have dared. You have a curious heart." They walked together slowly through the gardens. Ravi could feel the warmth of her presence, though the air between them remained professional and respectful. He asked her about the glowing trees and the floating creatures. Neera explained patiently, telling him about Zythera's unique energy fields and the harmony her people had with the planet. Ravi listened in awe. Every answer she gave made him admire her more. She was not just a princess, she was wise, intelligent, and connected to her world in ways humans could barely imagine. As they reached a small crystal fountain, Ravi stopped. "I should not be here long," he said. "Your guards will notice I am missing soon." Neera nodded, a small sadness in her eyes. "Yes. You must leave before trouble finds you. But I am glad you came. It is rare for someone from another world to see Zythera as it truly is." Ravi smiled. "I feel the same. Meeting you is more than I could have hoped for. I hope, perhaps we will meet again." Neera's eyes softened. "Perhaps. But you must be careful. The palace is not forgiving to intruders. And yet, I feel a strange connection. You are brave, and your heart is honest." Ravi looked at her for a moment, wanting to say more, but the sound of energy shields activating reminded him that time was short. "I will go," he said, "but I will not forget this moment. Thank you, Princess Neera, for showing me your world. Nira nodded and stepped back, fading into the glowing garden as Ravi turned toward his ship. He felt a mixture of exhilaration and longing. He had discovered a world beyond imagination, and he had met someone extraordinary. As the suns of Scythera began to set, painting the sky in colors he could not name, Ravi promised himself that this was only the beginning. Somehow, he would return to Scythera. Somehow, he would see Nira again. And with that thought, he stepped into his ship, his heart filled with curiosity, wonder, and a new hope that reached beyond the stars. Ravi could not stop thinking about Princess Nira. The moment he had met her in the glowing gardens of Scythera stayed in his mind like a bright star that refused to fade. Every detail, the shimmer of her skin, the light in her eyes, the gentle way she spoke was clear in his memory. He returned to his ship and studied the data he had collected from Scythera, but nothing seemed as important as the thought of meeting her again. Days passed, and Ravi could not stay away from the palace area. He disguised his ship as a small research drone and hovered above the floating palace. From his position, he could see the gardens, the crystal fountains, and the glowing plants, but he did not see Nira. He sighed, feeling both excitement and worry. He did not want to get caught, but he needed to know more about the princess and her world. Meanwhile, inside the palace, Princess Nira felt the same curiosity about the human. Her advisors warned her that humans were unpredictable, but something about Ravi felt different. He was honest, brave, and his heart seemed open. She thought about him often, wondering why a creature from another world had risked so much just to see her planet. One evening, while the suns were low and the sky glowed with soft pink and gold, Nira made a decision. She could not wait for Ravi to leave or for an opportunity to appear by chance. She would meet him. Using a small cloak that hid her light-reflecting garments, Nira moved through the palace corridors and out into the gardens. The glowing plants lit her path, and she moved quietly, careful not to be seen by the guards. Her heart raced as she approached the edge of the palace, the same spot where she had first spoken to Ravi. Ravi was already there, standing behind a rock that gave him some cover. He had returned to observe the gardens and the floating trees. When he saw movement near the crystal fountain, he held his breath. "Nira," he whispered. She stepped out from the shadows, a small smile on her face. "It is me," she said softly. "I could not wait any longer to see you again." Ravi felt a rush of relief and happiness. "I am glad you came," he said. "I have been thinking about you every day. Your world, it is beautiful, but it is your presence that makes it extraordinary." Nira laughed softly, a sound like water falling over stones. "You humans have strange ways with words," she said. "But I understand what you mean. I feel the same. There is a connection between us, though it should not be so easy." They walked through the glowing gardens together, talking quietly. Nira showed Ravi plants that moved to music he could not hear and flowers that changed colors with the energy of the suns. Ravi explained small things about Earth, about how humans lived, and about his world. As they spoke, they discovered they shared dreams of exploration. Ravi wanted to see the stars and understand new worlds. Nira wanted to learn more about humans and their cultures. Together, they imagined a future where both their worlds could share knowledge and grow stronger. The quiet was suddenly broken by the sound of palace guards patrolling nearby. Nira's eyes widened. "They will see us," she said. "You should leave, Ravi. It is dangerous if we are caught." Ravi nodded, though he felt a pang of disappointment. "I understand," he said. "But I do not want this moment to end. Even for a short time, I feel as if we understand each other." Nira reached out and touched his arm gently. "We do. And that is something rare, even among my people. But you must promise me you will be careful. Humans are not used to our world, and the palace, it does not forgive intruders." Ravi smiled. "I promise. But I will find a way to return, Nira. I will see you again, and we will continue to learn from each other. She smiled, and for a moment, the glowing garden seemed brighter. Then we shall wait for the next meeting, she said. But remember, Ravi, curiosity can be dangerous here. You must be wise. Ravi nodded. He stayed until the suns dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the glowing landscape. When he finally returned to his ship, he felt a new determination. He would study Scythera carefully, learn its secrets, and find a way to be near Nira safely. For Nira, the evening left her restless. She could not stop thinking about the human who had risked so much to meet her. His courage, his honesty, and his gentle nature had touched her in a way she had never felt before. She wondered if the connection they shared could grow stronger, despite the rules and dangers that surrounded her life in the palace. As night fell over Scythera, both of them looked at the stars. Though they were from different worlds, they felt a shared hope. A hope that one day, they could explore not only the universe but also the bond they had begun to form. And in that hope, they found the first spark of something extraordinary. Ravi could not stop thinking about Princess Nira. Every day, he studied Scythera from the safety of his ship, recording data and learning about the glowing plants, the floating trees, and the strange animals that hovered in the air. He was careful to avoid the palace grounds, but the memory of Nira's eyes and her gentle smile stayed with him. One day, while exploring a hidden valley near the palace, Ravi discovered a small cave. Inside, the walls glowed faintly, etched with symbols he did not understand. He felt a thrill of excitement. This was the kind of discovery that could change everything. Using his equipment, he scanned the symbols and realized they were some kind of record, left by Scythera's ancestors. As he studied the cave, Nira appeared suddenly. She had followed him, curious to see what he had discovered, though she stayed hidden at first. When Ravi turned, she stepped forward, her face calm but her eyes shining with interest. You have found the ancient's cave, she said softly. Few humans or even Scytherans have seen it. These symbols tell of our history, and of a prophecy. Ravi's eyes widened. A prophecy? What does it say? Nira walked closer and traced one of the glowing symbols with her finger. It speaks of a starborn ally who will come from another world to protect Scythera in a time of danger. This being will have courage, wisdom, and a heart open to our planet. Many have thought the prophecy was only a story, but I feel it may be true. I feel it could be you, Ravi. Ravi felt a mix of awe and disbelief. Me? I am just an explorer. I never thought I could be part of a prophecy from another world. Nira smiled gently. The ancients chose carefully. They spoke of someone who would see our world with honesty and respect. You have already shown that. Your curiosity, your courage, your kindness, they matter more than your origin. Ravi tried to absorb her words. He had always thought his role as a human explorer was small, but now it seemed larger than he had imagined. He realized that his actions here could make a difference, not just for him or Nira, but for an entire planet. They walked together deeper into the cave. Nira explained more about the prophecy. It also says the ally will help us face a threat beyond Scythera. One that comes from the stars. We do not know when it will arrive, but we must be ready. You have knowledge that may help us prepare. Ravi nodded, feeling both nervous and determined. I will do whatever I can. I want to help. Your planet, your people. I respect them, and I do not want to see them harmed. Nira studied him closely. Then you may be the ally the ancients spoke of. I must warn you, though this path will not be easy. There will be danger, and there will be decisions that test your heart and your courage. Ravi felt a thrill of purpose. For the first time in his life, he felt that he had a reason greater than himself to explore the stars. And for the first time, he felt a bond with someone that went beyond words or curiosity. They left the cave together and stepped into a clearing filled with luminous flowers. The sons of Scythera were high in the sky, casting warm light on the floating gardens. Ravi looked around and felt that he understood the beauty of this world in a deeper way. "Your world is incredible," he said. "But I understand it better now, thanks to you. And thanks to the ancients, I think I understand a bit more about why I am here." Neera smiled. "You are learning quickly, Ravi. The ancients valued wisdom as much as courage. That is why I believe you can help us. And perhaps, along the way, you will find a place in our hearts, as we already have a place for you in ours." Ravi felt warmth in his chest. Neera's words were gentle but strong. He realized that their connection was more than friendship, it was trust, and perhaps something deeper, though neither of them had spoken of it yet. Suddenly, a faint sound echoed from the sky. A shimmer in the distance caught their attention, a group of flying creatures, larger than any Ravi had seen before. They moved swiftly, circling the floating gardens. Neera's expression turned serious. "These are scouts. They belong to a group that may threaten Scythera one day. Their arrival reminds us that the prophecy is not just a story. Danger may come from beyond the stars, and we must prepare." Ravi looked at her, determination in his eyes. "Then we will prepare together. I will learn everything I can, and I will help you protect Scythera. We will face whatever comes as a team." Neera nodded, feeling a spark of hope. She realized that she had found someone not only brave but trustworthy. Someone who could be by her side when the time of trial arrived. As the suns began to set, painting the sky with colors Ravi had never imagined, they stood side by side, looking out over the glowing forests. The bond between them grew stronger with every shared word and every shared moment. And in that quiet, magical evening, both of them felt the promise of the future, a future where courage, trust, and hope could change the destiny of Scythera, and perhaps the stars beyond. Ravi stood on the edge of the glowing forest, watching the sons of Scythera cast long reflections across the floating cities. The feeling of awe he had first experienced on the planet was still strong, but now it was mixed with urgency. Neera had told him about the prophecy, and now signs of danger were becoming real. "Ravi, come quickly," Neera called from the palace. Her voice was calm but firm. Ravi ran toward her, weaving through the glowing trees. She stood on a balcony overlooking the sky, her eyes focused on something in the distance. "What is it?" Ravi asked, looking up. A dark shadow moved across the horizon. A fleet of alien ships, sleek and menacing, was approaching Scythera. They glowed with red lights, in sharp contrast to the soft colors of the planet. Ravi's heart raced. He had never faced an enemy like this before. "These ships belong to a hostile race," Neera explained. "They seek to take our planet's resources and enslave our people. We must prepare immediately." Ravi nodded. "Tell me what to do. I will help you." Neera led him to the palace command center. The room was filled with floating holograms of the planet and the approaching fleet. Technicians and advisors moved quickly, issuing orders and checking energy shields. Ravi examined the holograms, noting patterns in the ship's movement. "They are organized, but not perfect," he said. "If we position our defenses correctly, we can protect the cities and buy time for your people to evacuate civilians." Neera studied him with admiration. "Your mind is clever, Ravi. Perhaps the prophecy is right, you are the ally we need." Ravi felt a mixture of pride and responsibility. He knew the lives of countless beings depended on their actions. "We can combine human tactics with your technology," he suggested. "Use the energy shields and the floating platforms to create barriers and ambush points. I will help coordinate the strategy." Together, they worked through the day and night, adjusting plans and training small teams of defenders. Ravi was amazed by Scythera's technology. The people could manipulate energy fields, fly on light platforms, and communicate across distances with mental links. Combining these abilities with human tactical thinking gave them a real advantage. As the alien fleet drew closer, Ravi and Nira moved to the front lines. Floating platforms hovered above the crystal forests, ready to respond. Soldiers and scouts took positions, and the citizens of Scythera were guided to safe zones. Ravi watched Nira as she gave commands, her voice confident and steady. He realized that she was not only a princess but a true leader. When the first alien ships entered Scytheran airspace, the battle began. Energy beams flashed across the sky, and the alien ships tried to break through the barriers. Ravi directed squads to flank the invaders, using his understanding of their patterns. The combination of human strategy and Scytheran power surprised the enemy, giving the defenders an advantage. Nira fought alongside her people, her hands glowing with energy as she controlled barriers and redirected attacks. Ravi stayed close, guiding small teams and repairing energy lines that the aliens tried to sabotage. The battle was intense, but every move they made pushed the enemy back. At one point, an alien ship targeted the floating gardens where Nira and Ravi were coordinating defenses. A powerful beam struck the platform, shaking it violently. Ravi grabbed Nira's hand, holding her steady. "We must keep moving," he shouted. Together, they shifted the energy fields, redirecting the attack and saving the gardens from destruction. After hours of fighting, the alien fleet began to retreat. Their ships were damaged, and they had underestimated the strength and coordination of Scythera's defenders. The citizens cheered as the skies cleared, and the suns shone once more over the floating cities. Nira turned to Ravi, her face glowing with relief and pride. "You were amazing," she said. "Your courage and quick thinking saved many lives today." Ravi smiled, feeling a warmth that had nothing to do with the suns. "We saved them together. Your people are incredible, Nira. And you are a true leader." The princess looked out at the horizon, where the last alien ships disappeared into space. "This is only the beginning," she said softly. "The prophecy warned of dangers beyond our stars. But now, I know we can face them, as long as we work together." Ravi nodded, feeling a sense of purpose stronger than ever. He had come to Scythera as an explorer, but now he was part of something much greater. He had found friendship, trust, and courage not just in himself, but in Nira and her people. As night fell over the glowing forests, Ravi and Nira stood together on the balcony. The stars sparkled above them, a reminder that the universe was vast and full of mysteries. But for the first time, Ravi felt ready to face them, knowing that he and Nira could face anything. Together. The skies over Scythera were calm for the first time in days. The alien fleet had retreated, leaving the floating cities and glowing forests untouched. Citizens cheered and celebrated, but the air still carried a weight of tension. Everyone knew the threat had not vanished completely, and the prophecy that Nira had shared lingered in their minds. Ravi walked through the palace gardens with Nira. The glowing flowers swayed gently in the soft light of Scythera's suns. After the battle, the planet seemed even more beautiful, but Ravi noticed a seriousness in Nira's expression. "You led your people brilliantly today," he said softly. "Your courage inspired everyone. I have never seen such determination and skill." Nira smiled faintly, but her eyes held worry. "Thank you, Ravi. But the battle reminded me of our responsibilities. The threat is not gone. I must make difficult choices for my people. Sometimes I wonder if I am ready for all that is expected of me." Ravi stopped and looked at her. "You are ready, Nira. You led with strength and heart. But it is natural to doubt yourself. Even the strongest leaders feel this way." She looked down, her hands glowing slightly with energy. "And yet, I am also thinking of something else, someone else. Someone who has come from another world and has changed my life in ways I did not expect." Ravi felt his chest tighten. He understood her words, even though they were unspoken. Their bond had grown stronger with every shared moment, every strategy session, and every risk they had taken together. He wanted to tell her how he felt, but he hesitated. Nira continued, humans and Zytherans rarely form close bonds. There are rules, expectations, and traditions. Yet, I cannot deny what I feel. My heart is not simple, and it is drawn to someone who is brave, kind, and different. Ravi's hand brushed hers gently. Nira, I feel the same. I did not expect to meet anyone like you, and yet here we are. Your courage, your wisdom, and your kindness have changed me. I cannot imagine leaving Zythera without expressing what I feel. Her eyes met his, and for a moment, the glowing garden seemed still. The soft light reflected in their eyes, and both felt the weight of their feelings. The bond they had built during the battle, during their conversations about the prophecy, and through shared moments of courage, had grown into something deeper. I am afraid, Nira admitted. Afraid of the rules, of what others may think, and of the dangers that are still ahead. But I also know that I trust you, Ravi. You have shown your heart and your courage. That is rare. Ravi stepped closer. Nira, trust is the foundation of everything. Together, we can face the threats beyond Zythera and the challenges that come with our bond. I want to stand by your side, not just as an ally, but as someone who cares deeply for you. She smiled, a warm and gentle expression that made Ravi feel hope. And I want to stand by yours, Ravi. Perhaps the prophecy was not only about protecting the planet. Perhaps it was also about finding a connection that gives us strength. Ravi nodded. He felt a sense of certainty he had never known. Then we do this together. I will help your people, protect Zythera, and face whatever comes. And I will be honest about my heart, because it belongs to you. Nira's glow seemed brighter as she reached out and held his hand. And my heart belongs to you as well. We will face the stars together, Ravi. And perhaps, one day, we can be more than allies. As they walked through the palace gardens, Ravi and Nira felt a sense of unity and purpose stronger than ever. They had faced the threat from the alien fleet, had saved countless lives, and had learned to trust each other completely. But now, they were also facing a new challenge, one of the heart. The suns began to set, casting warm colors across the floating forests. The air was quiet, except for the hum of the glowing plants. In that calm, both felt the promise of a future that was bright, uncertain, and full of possibilities. Ravi knew that the bond between them had changed everything. He had come to Zythera as an explorer, but he was now part of something far greater. A connection that could face the dangers of the universe, a partnership built on trust, courage, and mutual respect. Nira looked at him and smiled softly. We have much to do, Ravi. The threat is still out there, and our people need us. But we will face it together, and our hearts will guide us. Ravi nodded, feeling hope and determination. For the first time, he realized that courage was not only about facing battles or danger. It was also about being honest with one's heart, and trusting someone else completely. And in that quiet evening, with the glowing forests and floating cities around them, Ravi and Nira felt the first true spark of a bond that could change not only their lives but the destiny of Zythera itself. The suns of Zythera were low in the sky, painting the floating gardens in warm shades of gold and pink. Ravi stood at the edge of the palace balcony, his heart racing. He had thought carefully about what he wanted to say, and now he knew that he could not wait any longer. The bond he shared with Princess Nira had grown stronger with every day, every shared challenge, and every quiet conversation. Nira approached him, her presence as calming and radiant as ever. Ravi, you asked to meet me here, she said softly. Her eyes reflected the setting suns, glowing like twin stars. Ravi turned to face her, taking a deep breath. Nira, there is something I must tell you. Something important. She tilted her head, curious. What is it? He stepped closer, his voice gentle but steady. I have come to care for you deeply. More than I expected, more than I can explain. You are brave, kind, and wise. You have shown me your world, your people, and your heart. And in return, you have captured mine. Nira's eyes widened slightly, and she felt a warmth spread through her chest. She had sensed Ravi's feelings, but hearing him speak so honestly made her heart beat faster. Ravi knelt on one knee, his hand reaching toward her. Princess Nira, I know our worlds are different, and our lives are not simple. But I cannot hide my heart any longer. Will you marry me? For a moment, the garden was quiet. The glowing flowers seemed to lean toward them, and the gentle hum of energy from the floating platforms filled the air. Nira's eyes glistened, and she felt emotions she had never allowed herself to feel so openly. Ravi continued, his voice soft and sincere. I want to face the stars with you, to protect your people, and to share life's joys and challenges together. I cannot imagine Scythera without you in my life. Please, Nira, will you be by my side forever? Tears of joy threatened to fall from Nira's eyes. She had never imagined that a human could care for her so deeply, or that love could cross the boundaries between worlds. And yet, here he was, standing before her with honesty, courage, and an open heart. She reached out and took his hand. Ravi, your words, they touch me more than I can say. I have felt the same for you, though I feared it was impossible. You are brave, kind, and true. And you have risked so much to understand and protect my world. Ravi held her hands tightly, his heart pounding. Then tell me, Nira. Will you marry me? Will you share your life with me? Nira looked at him, thinking of the challenges that lay ahead, of the differences between humans and Scytherans, and of the dangers that still hovered beyond the stars. And yet, she felt a certainty that she had never felt before. Her heart told her that courage and trust could bridge any gap. Yes, Ravi, she said finally, her voice steady and filled with warmth. I will marry you. I will be by your side, and we will face the future together. Ravi's face lit up with joy. He rose to his feet and gently pulled Nira into an embrace. The suns dipped lower, casting golden light across the palace gardens. In that moment, it felt as if the entire planet was celebrating with them. They stood together, holding hands and looking out over the floating cities and glowing forests. Their bond was no longer just friendship or alliance, it was love, strong and true, ready to face any challenge. Nira smiled and rested her head on Ravi's shoulder. Our people will have questions, she said softly. They may be unsure of this union, but if they have seen what we have accomplished together, they will understand. And we will show them that love and courage can unite worlds. Ravi nodded. Yes, together, we can show them. And together, we will continue to protect Scythera, explore the stars, and face whatever comes. I promise you that, Nira. As the night fell, the stars of Scythera began to shine brightly in the sky, twinkling like distant gems. Ravi and Nira remained on the balcony, holding each other close, feeling the promise of a shared future. They had faced danger, learned to trust each other, and discovered a love that crossed the boundaries of worlds. And in that quiet, magical evening, both of them knew that this was only the beginning. Their journey together, as allies, friends, and now partners in life, would take them to places neither had imagined. But with courage, trust, and love, they would face every challenge side by side. For Ravi and Nira, the stars were no longer distant points of light, they were a promise of adventure, unity, and a life they would share forever. The suns of Scythera rose slowly over the floating cities, casting soft light across the glowing forests. The planet seemed peaceful, as if it were celebrating the new bond between Ravi and Princess Nira. After the proposal, the palace and the citizens had been filled with excitement and curiosity, but also respect for the choices of their leaders. Ravi and Nira walked through the palace gardens, their hands entwined. The glowing flowers swayed gently around them, reflecting the warmth of the suns. Their hearts were full of hope and purpose. The bond they shared had grown stronger with every challenge, and now they faced a future together with courage and love. Nira spoke softly. The people are still adjusting to the idea of a human and a Scytheran uniting. Some are unsure, but many have seen our efforts during the battle and the courage we have shown. That has changed their minds. Ravi nodded. Actions always speak louder than words. We have proven that love and trust can cross worlds, and that working together makes everyone stronger. The palace advisors approached, bowing respectfully. Princess Nira, Ravi, one of them said, your union has given hope to all of Scythera. It shows that humans and Scytherans can work together, and that courage and honesty can overcome fear. The people are inspired by your example. Nira smiled. Thank you. We will continue to protect Scythera and teach others that cooperation and trust are more powerful than fear and suspicion. Ravi looked out over the floating gardens and the crystal lakes. There is so much we can learn from each other. Humans have knowledge of the stars, and your people have wisdom and technology beyond anything we imagined. Together, we can explore and protect, and share knowledge across worlds. The princess nodded. Yes. Our worlds are different, but that difference makes us stronger. We can face challenges together, and create a future full of hope. In the weeks that followed, Ravi and Nira worked tirelessly to strengthen the bond between humans and Scytherans. They organized learning exchanges, showing Scytherans new ways to study the stars and teaching humans about Scythera's energy fields and culture. Citizens visited each other's homes, shared stories, and explored the floating gardens together. Slowly, trust and friendship grew across the planet. One evening, Ravi and Nira stood on a cliff overlooking the glowing forests and floating cities. The twin suns had set, and the stars above twinkled like distant jewels. The soft hum of energy from the floating platforms filled the air. I cannot believe how much has changed, Ravi said, holding Nira's hand. When I first came to Scythera, I was just an explorer. I never imagined I would find a bond like this, or that I could make a difference here. Nira smiled, leaning slightly against him. Nor did I. I expected duty and responsibility, but instead I found trust, friendship, and love. You have shown me that courage comes in many forms, and that the heart is as important as wisdom or power. They watched a group of young Scytherans learning to hover on small energy platforms, guided by human instructors. Laughter and excitement echoed across the floating gardens. It reminded them that their efforts were not just for themselves, but for future generations. Ravi squeezed Nira's hand. This is only the beginning. Together, we can explore beyond Scythera, discover new worlds, and face whatever comes. But we will always return here, to our home, and to each other. Nira nodded, her eyes reflecting the starlight. Yes. Scythera will always be our home, and our bond will always guide us. The prophecy spoke of courage, and we have found it not just in battle, but in our hearts. As the night deepened, they returned to the palace, walking through glowing corridors and gardens filled with soft light. Citizens and advisors paused to smile at them, sensing the harmony between human and Scytheran, and the promise of a future built on trust, unity, and love. Ravi and Nira reached the balcony where they first met, overlooking the forests and floating cities. They stood together, hand in hand, feeling the calm and strength that came from shared courage. Nira whispered, no matter what challenges come, we will face them together. Ravi smiled. Always. And we will show others that even worlds apart, hearts can unite and make the universe stronger. They watched the twin moons rise above the horizon, their reflections shimmering in the crystal lakes below. For Ravi and Nira, the stars were no longer distant and lonely. They were a promise of adventure, discovery, and a life built together. And as the glow of Scythera surrounded them, they knew that the bond between human and alien had become a symbol of hope. A reminder that courage, trust, and love could change the fate of worlds. For Ravi and Nira, the future was bright, full of possibility, and entirely their own. Together, they had faced danger, discovered connection, and created a new beginning for themselves, and for all of Zythera.